Hello and welcome to the TCF recap of the week 2 episodes 3 and 4 of the ESPN The Last Dance documentary on the 97-98 Bulls. It is me, your boy Boomy at Boomy TCF. We've got Zach in the building at Z Lilia TCF, Matt at schools_01, and we got Gameboy at TCF Gameboy. Boys, week 2. I mean, I don't know how we're feeling. I don't know if you saw the ratings. Ratings were just as good for week 2 as they were for week 1 on The Last Dance. Let's jump into it a little bit. Were you guys' thoughts the same on week 2 as they were on week 1?
It's getting better and better. I think the ratings will start getting better and better as like people start maybe watching the first 4 episodes and kind of getting into it. It's just I don't want it to stop. I don't want commercials to happen. I don't want that to end. I want to keep watching. I just want to keep going after episode 4. I just want to watch episode 5, then 6, and 7. And it's one of those things like that's what Netflix has kind of done to us, where they just throw out like shows at us. We can binge them all the time. We're so used to being able to do that. It's kind of like bringing you back to when you had to watch a series. Like every Friday night is when you had to watch the show and you watch the commercials and everything. But for me, it's awesome to be able to. Also, boys, did you see my birthday made an appearance?
Yes, it did.
My birthday, January 10th, 1998. The day that it was like when Scottie Pippen, I think, was going to come back and finally play with the Bulls. It took away his wanting to be traded. But yes, that's kind of cool. My 3rd birthday made an appearance on
memorable birthday.
But it's awesome, and I can't wait to keep watching. We got, I think, 3 Sundays left. It gives you something to look forward to in a time of no sports. I did see my mother is a fan of bull riding. Bull riding is going on though, and limited things. But yeah, I just want. All I can say is I want more. I want more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was like the fastest 2 hours like of my week watching The Last Dance. Like it's so good. I can't take my eyes off it. Like I didn't want to get up to go to the bathroom even. Like I'm just like, I don't want to pause it. I don't want to be behind. I'm gonna go on Twitter and see what everybody else is saying too. So I couldn't like pause it and then go ahead. It's awesome though. It's one of the best documentaries I've seen. Period. Let alone like sports documentaries.
Yeah, it's one of those things. The week takes forever, and then once we get to that, it's like
2 hours.
2 hours is over.
Snapping of fingers are gone, dude.
This is going to be one of those things when we go back in 10, 15 years and you look back and think about what the whole pandemic, what the lifestyle was. This is going to be one of those like sub stories of, like when they do the We Love the 90s, the 2000s, when they do all those decade playbacks. Yep. This is going to be one of the parts of when they talk about the COVID-19 crisis. This is what people did. This is one of the main, so this is captivating society right now in so many ways. It's pretty cool. And I think, and like it's, the timing of it was obviously perfect to drop something like this. The anticipation's super high. There's no other alternative for competition on it, but it's fascinating. I watched each episode. I'm on my 2nd run through of the new episodes from last night. So, so I'll be on my 2nd run through of both of those, and I watched the first 2 3 times. So it's crazy.
I think they're doing a great job of putting like a spotlight on like Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen, but not going too long with it.
Yeah.
They kind of do it the right length. They're not going to spend a bunch of time on it because if you think about it, like especially with like Dennis Rodman, there's already been the 30 for 30 on his life. They kind of went back on the same stages for both players and stuff like that. I wonder if there's going to be more if there's going to be any other players that are kind of spotlighted like that. I've seen that they're going to do like a dream team thing coming up here in the next episode or so, but it's most. I think even if it was during the NBA Finals, like it still would be doing amazing numbers.
It's safe to say the week 2 of it was the acid trip week because you got Rodman, you had Phil Jackson. It was
literally
a collection of just all
Phil
you missed was Bill Walton.
All
you needed was Bill Walton, and I was like,
I need like a 2 or 3 part documentary on the night that Phil Jackson took acid.
Yeah, no kidding.
That would be interesting.
For sure. Let's jump into it. Our favorite moment of episodes 3 and 4. I'll get us going here. My favorite moment is I'm a huge huge Dennis Rodman fan. I got to bring it up. My sister scolded me last night for forgetting it in our preview. Dennis Rodman was so much my favorite player. I once convinced my sister to take Crayola markers and try to color my hair because I wanted to look like Dennis Rodman and like draw tattoos on me because
I would love
it might
be hilarious.
I did. I was probably 6 or 7, and my mom came into the bathroom. My sister had markers and was like coloring my scalp because I wanted my hair to look like Dennis Rodman. So Brienne, I had to remember to throw that in. But my
What a role model.
film, yeah, it was. I love the guy. I still do. But my favorite moment is when they were kind of talking about him having his issues, on and off the court, and then he's like, it's the footage of him sitting in the weight room, like sitting on the floor with his arm down, with a cup, and he's just like kamikaze, and he's drinking a kamikaze in the room, literally like the place where like all these guys are in there to become these insanely jacked pro athletes, and he's just sipping a kamikaze. Like that is so Dennis Rodman, and I loved it. It was just out of nowhere. Even my wife was like, he is drinking an alcoholic drink in the Chicago Bulls weight room.
He worked out in pajama pants.
Yeah, he went to practice in pajama pants.
I don't know. It's just like they have probably all these like nice Bulls like shorts, workout pants, practice pants, all these kind of different probably stuff, and he's got pajama pants on.
Yes,
and that
just,
the one where he comes back and he's got the slippers on as he walks out on the court.
Yep.
Phil Jackson's like, I hope you stretched today.
Yeah.
Certain people are just cut from a different cloth, man. He didn't need to work out, really. He didn't need to. He needed to work out just to like maintain just some semblance of a human body.
Well, a story in there is
otherwise. But other than that, like he could just flip the switch and be ready to roll.
A story in there was like when he got back from Vegas, they did the thing where they kind of made they did like the Indian run where you go around and you gotta and they kind of were gonna screw with Dennis, and when he went up there they were gonna all slow down, so he had to like run and run. Apparently he just outran them for like 2 or 3 laps or whatever. I guess like they said the motor, when they said you can't put a saddle on a Mustang, that was one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard. That was like, that's perfect. That's perfect.
That's spot on for Dennis.
Matt, I'll let you go into yours.
I was just gonna say this. There was a lot of great quotes. Just in these both episodes, 3 and 4 both. But favorite part probably for this week was just Michael showing how deep his hatred for Detroit runs even to this day. Oh. It permeates every fiber of his body still. He wakes up, he still hates Detroit. He still hates Isaiah Thomas and Lane Beer and then everybody there. I think that just that whole storyline is captivating to me. And I would have liked to see more of that. But and then the side one too, when he hit the shot against Cleveland and to wrap up the series. And just screams, "Get the fuck out of here! All you fuckers go home!" Just screaming it on the floor, and it's just you can't watch this documentary with the censored versions because the passion that comes through and all these when these guys are swearing in all these episodes right now, you can really feel the emotion from them and how deep all this was. And it's I don't know, just like hearing those stories on things that I watch and things that I remember. It's really really cool to me.
Yeah, the way he just wanted to prove the media wrong. Even when he was winning after he won his 5th championship, he's like, I'm going to try and go. I think it was like Sam Smith. Now I'm going to prove you wrong that we're going to win 6 or something like that. Like he always had that thing where he wanted to prove the media wrong, because whatever you want to say about Michael Jordan, he knew what the media was saying at all times.
There was a really good point too. That I forgot who brought it up, but they were talking about the Cavs teams then too. Those Cavaliers teams were ridiculously good too. And
can I ask who coached that team?
It was Lenny Wilkens.
Why would you not put Ron Harper? Why would you not put Ron Harper on Michael Jordan? Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, dude, they had studs. They had Larry Nance, Brad Daugherty, Mark Price. Mark Price was awesome, dude.
Yeah,
very very good.
Good team.
Ron Harper's quote after that was one of the best of the whole documentary so far.
Yeah,
it's shit.
Oh, plus we'll see him again later anyway, so he gets the payoff in the end.
Gamer, what's yours?
My favorite actually was Ron Harper afterwards, and they're talking about how he wanted to guard
Yeah.
MJ on that, and they're like, "No, let's put
Great
Elo on him."
quote.
He's like, "Whatever, fuck this bullshit." And then
Yeah,
he missed a
That's
shot
such a
at
great
Dre.
quote.
like,
MJ goes and
whatever.
knocks it down anyway. That was
Even
easily my
Jordan
favorite
said
part.
it. He's like Ron Harper should have guarded me. He's like that was a mistake there.
And to Craig
Um,
Eloy's defense, though, that was an insanely tough shot. He did defend it pretty well. I mean,
he floated. He
They double
floated in the
clutched
air.
it.
yes,
floated
I don't.
in the
Ron
air.
Harper, he might have made it a little harder for him to get the ball, but it doesn't matter who you put in that shot. Like you said, he floated. He was going to sink that no matter who was guarding it.
This episode also made you realize, like, Michael Jordan, like back in the day, was just doing beautiful things on the basketball court.
The slow mo. My favorite always is the slow mo where he goes up with the right. And then switch. Oh
Yes.
my! I told my wife,
dad
I'm like, that's still the coolest shot I've ever seen in an NBA game.
My dad made me rewind that a few
Yes.
times. I mean, it's just beautiful to watch.
Would you watch some of these highlights too, especially when he's younger early in his career? His explosion just off the floor, dude. It was incredible. It was just
he floated.
he would just be
floated. I don't know what it was, but he floated.
I don't even think we hit it, but in the first episode, they showed the highlight when he was at Carolina. He hit his head on the backboard.
Yes.
He just come on, it's crazy.
Well, I have two because like the first one is kind of when Michael Jordan was just like, yeah, Isaiah Thomas is an asshole, just straight up like, I don't need to watch the video. He's like, I don't need to watch the video. I already know he's an asshole. And when he was watching it, like his face was just like, this is some bullshit. But also, I thought another cool time was when Craig Sager gave Dennis Rodman the $20 in the hallway. Like that's never before seen footage. Like you've never seen that before. That's really cool. And even the way Dennis kind of made it seem is like he probably gave me the $20 because he wants to interview. That's the problem with him or whatever. But like I thought that was just a cool moment. Like that's what so many of these this whole documentary is do is like just bring up some amazing moments, like especially coming up here in the next few episodes. Like they're gonna start bringing in like celebrities are just gonna be wanting to be a part of the Chicago Bulls, and like you're gonna be able to see behind scene footage. And like I just think that was a cool thing, like especially with Craig Sager being gone and everything. He gave him $20 to pay for some of his fines that Dennis Rodman had. I want to know what Dennis Rodman's career fines is, like how much money he spent on fines for because dude, the things they were doing back in the day is insane. Like the way he even said it, he's like, you could like punch, kick people and maybe not get a technical for it.
Yeah, it was a different game back then, that's for sure. Like you don't see that today. If you even like close your fist today, it's a fine and suspension, at least for a game.
Dude, he kicked the cameraman in the nuts.
Well, like, come on. It was the Detroit was playing somebody, and the guy was going up for a layup, and they literally just midair just two hands shoved him onto the ground.
Yeah,
he kicked the cameraman in the nuts. He headbutted a guy, I think again for the Nets, and I can't remember who it was in the middle of a scrum. Straight up headbutted him.
Rodman
was a loose cannon, dude.
Severely hurt Scottie Pippen that time when he pushed him in that game. Like he got lucky that he was fine. But that could have been bad if he would have like landed.
Pippen, that was the first time he handled anything correctly, by the way, too.
Yeah, one of the few times that he
by not reacting. Yeah,
one of the few times that he kind of did the right thing there.
Well, other than our favorite moments, we definitely have our most surprising moments, kind of the ones that jumped out to you the most. Mine was the relationship between Doug Collins and Tex Winters. They're both in their own right, very, very good coaches. And Tex Winters doesn't get a lot of love for
Jerry Krause. Jerry Krause did not go to Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame speech because Tex Winters was not in the Hall of Fame. He will not. He said his excuse was he would not step foot in the Hall of Fame if Tex Winters was not in. Is it Tex Winter or Tex Winters?
I think it was Winters.
Is not in the Hall of Fame. He said Jerry Krause would not step foot in the place.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just weird to see the dynamic of them at the table, and Tex wanting to push the triangle offense and Doug not wanting to do that, and then it got so bad. I mean that Tex was coaching from basically the press row.
He was kicked out. I think he was kicked off the bench.
And also, as like a coach, to be able to go through that and not like just quit and not. I mean, you wouldn't. I don't know if you'd see that today. If guys were being treated like that, you're probably just going to walk away and find another job where Tex kind of just gutted through it, and then obviously became, Phil's
Yeah.
mentor and everything.
And a big reason Phil Jackson became the head coach is because Jerry Krause had a lot of trust in Tex Winters and and Phil Jackson loved the triangle offense. I mean, did you guys see that time where he had like just 30 or 40 different ways you could run the triangle offense on the board? It was like, that's crazy, like just the way his mind thought with all that. Like, and if
Yeah,
you really
it
think
was all
about
in
it, like
shifting. It was all just how the play shifted across the
how
board.
technically simple it was, but like how effective it was too.
Yeah,
Definitely.
well, you got to have a bunch of unselfish guys, and as you can see, that was part of the issue, was getting Jordan to make sure that he could be willing to give it up when he needed to.
Yeah. My most surprising part, Jordan called Dennis Rodman one of the smartest basketball players he ever played with in his career. And I think that's just interesting because you think of Dennis Rodman like this crazy guy on the court, getting technicals, getting in fights, but like we were kind of talking about before, the way he talked about rebounds and like Larry Bird's was this
basketball
way,
porn.
Magic Johnson's had a little bit of a spin, Michael Jordan's had more spin. Like he wanted to stand here. He said he would take his friends at 4 a.m., go to the gym, and just have them shoot around. He wanted just to watch how the ball went off the rim. Like, it's just crazy to think, like, the way that he thought. Like, not a lot of people nowadays would want to put that much time into rebounding. Like, I think it was like 7 straight years he led the NBA in rebounds. Like, he once had like 4 rebounds a game more than Shaquille O'Neal, who was second. Like, that's crazy. Like, he averaged like 17 rebounds.
It was never close. Like,
No.
when he would win the rebounding titles, it wasn't close.
What was it, that one though? He had like 20 rebounds or something, like 20 plus rebounds and 0 points.
Yeah,
like, how is that
seven
possible?
times.
7 times.
Seven
yeah,
times
yeah, that's
How is
insane.
that possible? Like, how are you not going for that many rebounds?
But he
like,
loved that stuff. Like, that's what he played for, was to get
Oh,
rebounds. Like, he didn't
loved
want
it.
to score. He just wanted to get rebounds and just like play
And
nuts. Like, that's
That's
like, you
why
want to play hard.
when he says like, if it was like, they asked at the beginning, they go like, he kind of says that, I always say, if it wasn't, they say, yeah, they got Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, but you take Dennis Rodman out of that team and you don't win a championship. And like, I think he's right.
Well,
in some
look at
like,
a lot
in his own right way.
I'm sorry, Zach. You look at so many of the great championship teams, like in every sport, not just here, not in the NBA, but like every team has a guy that's a little bit off the cuff, a little bit of a loose cannon, and sometimes more than one. But every team's got at least one guy that you can't just, a little bit of a wild card. And man, when you get a guy like Rodman, who's a Hall of Fame caliber, he is a Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame caliber defensive player, rebounder, effort guy, just brought the edge that team needed in '96, the '95-'96 season. And man, it's just so cool to come back and watch this all over again.
And Michael Wilbon said, "Fuck." That was weird.
Well,
that made me feel awkward when he said that. Honestly, like, it was like,
he's the worst. I can't stand that guy.
That was weird.
I think my most surprising, this is definitely like personal for me because I have like hatred for him, but this documentary is making me like John Paxson.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
He sounds intelligent.
I mean,
they're talking about the
forget
shots
he
he
was
hit.
like, and you forget he was a really good basketball player.
Yeah,
too. Like,
he was a great shooter.
Very good player. Very good player.
I saw
Also,
one of the
like,
Chicago media guys was like, "Hey guys, maybe we should hire John Paxson in the front office."
Like,
that
could have been any worse timing. And he did all his interviews in the facility too. Like,
hell of
and then
a time for John Paxson's PR team, though.
And that's why I kind of always wish, like, I'm happy that Michael Jordan never got involved with like the Bulls front office. Yeah. Like, it skews your thoughts because you're mad in the moment, like that he's not getting the players that you want for your team. But like, you forget, he was a really good player. Also, like, did they like? Yeah, that was nice. Like, but they made it seem like that, like the game that he was Michael Jordan was passing the ball to John Paxson was like the first time Michael Jordan had ever passed the ball.
He ever passed the ball.
Yeah. He did
lead
the team. He did lead the team in assists as a rookie. So
I'm like,
I think all that was just Jordan
I know what
take over a game, and like Phil's like, you can take over a game in different ways. Like, you can pass the ball.
I also loved how Michael Jordan loved Doug Collins because Doug Collins was just like, get Michael Jordan the ball and get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah.
If it was for if Doug Collins would have been Michael Jordan's coach, I think he would have. They wouldn't have won as many championships, but he would have averaged like 45 points. He would have just like he would have scored so many fucking points.
For me, my most surprising part is the fact, again, I'm going back to Jordan. It's the fact that, and it's again something he hasn't let go. It's that he hasn't let go of the Pippen Game 7 migraine.
Oh
And
my!
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He still that
Oh.
still burns at him, and
They got blown out too. They got blown out.
they got their ass kicked.
Just-
They got their ass kicked big
The
time.
way you
And
could just tell the way he was talking about it. He's like, yeah, he had a headache.
yeah, like
He's
that
like,
one-
yeah, yes, he wasn't feeling
Oh
good.
my
Yeah.
It just
God.
it's one of those. His facial expression just was it said a million words.
And that's what I love about the whole thing too, is like that everyone is being as real as like everyone is real. And I think because they let
the
it
fact that he won 6 titles with you though, and you still haven't let that
a
go.
game that like it really didn't matter in a way, like they got blown
Like
out.
now it
wasn't-
hasn't.
Yeah. It doesn't, like, you look back at it, it doesn't really matter, and he still was just like in the biggest documentary. It was like you could just tell in his voice, what the fuck, he had a migraine, bullshit.
That's
You
a
could tell,
competitor,
like,
man.
He does have some like regrets with Scotty. Like you tell he thinks Scotty was soft back in the day, and he needed
well-
like some years of toughen up. You could just tell.
Definitely-
Yeah,
Definitely still thinks that, like, he still, like, even when he was like they were talking about him wanting the contracts and not doing the surgery during the summer, he was like, that's selfish. He was just straight up like, that was selfish. And I
Yeah,
love the way
like-
he calls him Pip.
Yeah,
Michael
he
Jordan
says Pip's
just
so
like, Pip.
cool.
He's like, yeah, it's Pip.
All right, jumping to our favorite person of episodes 3 and 4. I've got to start off. She still got her fastball. It's Carmen Electra. I mean,
got no issues.
It's just
I
the
can't
best.
object.
and
Wow, like,
I mean, it's,
like,
you haven't seen her in like 15 years, and it's like, wow, she looked exactly the same as she did in 1995. So,
and like, not like there've been like a lot of plastic surgery done either. Like, she looked fire.
like Marcel
yeah.
Carl said, she still got her fastball.
Still got her fastball, and it was like just a quick pop up, and then like you like forget, like, damn, Dennis Rodman.
But I didn't like how
Carmen
she
Electra
outed
and-
herself, though. Like, and MJ said, he's like, oh, I'm not going to go to who was in there. And then Electra literally the next scene was like, oh, yeah, I was in there.
It was me.
And then she was like, yeah, I didn't know it was like, I didn't know it was like a detour. I'm like, he was playing in the middle of the like 6th championship, and like, what do you mean?
Oh,
a
she was so
detour?
drunk and high. She didn't care. Like, she didn't know what was
No.
going on either. She's
Oh,
dating
she
Dennis Rodman.
She said, she's like, it's actually like, oh, like a liability to be his girlfriend, because like all you do is go out and party. Like, he was just a maniac. Like, the way, dude, like, it's crazy. He did all that while he was like playing for one of the best teams ever. Like, that's just crazy to think about. The fucking shit he got away with too. Like, going to fucking Vegas in the middle of the season. Imagine like somebody on the Lakers this year would have just gone to Vegas for like fucking 2 days. Just to say, hey, because
There's a lot of guys, a lot of Hall of Famers that could never beat Jordan. Never could beat this team. Social media would have beaten this team way before anybody else would have.
I did love that Dennis Rodman was just pounding Miller Lights and then jumped on a motorcycle and like no one even cared.
Yeah, you can't do that today.
No, you can't do that. You'll be just harpooned on social media. Like irresponsible drunk driving from the Bulls starting power forward.
I mean, we would love it personally, but like real media, like people who like a little bit older, a little more mature, probably would be like, you can't do that. But we don't care.
It was just wild too. Like, he was just openly out there in the parking lot drinking the Miller Lite, and then gets right in the motorcycle. But like, he was like walking around after
kamikazes in the weight room. So
it was a different time too.
Yeah, absolutely.
My favorite person, I did like when Horace Grant was just like, yeah, they some fucking bitches. Like, that was awesome. It just shows you he still hates them. And like, they just like, yeah, fuck them. And also, when Gary Payton was just like, Dennis Rodman is a go out there and fuck it up player. Like, he was out there and he just fucks it up. And, you really think about it, like, I wish there was a documentary kind of with, like, Gary Payton, because they say he is ruthless. Like, he
they
is
say he was
mean.
the biggest trash talker in NBA history.
Yeah, they say he is mean, but, like, the way he was just like, Dennis Rodman. And you think about it, he was. He was going out there to go fuck shit up. Like, he wasn't going out there to.
He was another really good defensive player too.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
Oh,
but
if you think about it, like,
ridiculous.
Dennis Rodman, the way he played defense, like, he played defense against some of the greatest players of all time and locked him down.
Yep. Well, you saw even just some of those highlights. He was going one-on-one with Magic Johnson and having no issue sticking with him. And it was
that's the thing. He guarded
players here and there, but
he could guard Magic, Scotty. He guarded Shaq. Like later on, like in his career when he's a little bit slower, he'd guard Shaq and he'd hold him to like 20.
Olajuwon.
Yeah,
he would defend Olajuwon a lot whenever they'd play the Rockets.
I think my favorite was Doug Collins. Got to give an ISU shout out there. Doug Collins is just pure energy still. Like the same guy he was coaching, the same guy you get in interviews, and I love it. And the way he talks about just giving the ball to Jordan and having a great relationship. Like, yeah, he probably should have listened more to Tex Winter's probably like his own downfall there because Jerry wasn't going to let that go. He was going to fire him eventually for that. But you got to love Doug Collins.
I mean, as a coach, him sweating through his shirts.
Yeah.
Like,
so relatable there.
About him like foaming at the mouth and Michael giving him a cup of water. That's just gold right there.
Yeah, that's
I'm
awesome.
piggybacking on Gamer with that one too. Doug Collins is my favorite. Just when you're willing to just go up in their press conference and tell him what your play was, it's called give it to Michael and get the fuck out of the way.
How'd you play the game there? Oh, I told everyone to get the fuck out of the way and give it to Michael. Like imagine someone say that nowadays.
Swearing in post game conferences.
Yeah, I need some of that. I need coaches to give me something like that.
I hate to sound like this may sound stupid, but like uncensored cuss words is what I need in like post game interview.
Yeah.
Like because some of the times like when you're like watching the documentary and like did Michael Jordan just throws out like a fuck or something like that, or just those guys were motherfuckers or something like that. That just pumps me up to watch even more. Like the way that they are so real about it is awesome.
Just good television.
Ron Harper definitely gets an honorable mention in my favorite person just for his quote about them putting Craig Elo on Michael Jordan.
I think it was my last
line.
Too. I think just the way you kind of found out, like Phil Jackson is like one of the greatest coaches of all time. He may have had some of the greatest players, but like he knew how to coach them correctly and like do what they needed.
The players coach.
Well, just that and it wasn't even managing egos. He was managing mountains.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah. These weren't just your run of the mill guys. Like this is he was he did it.
He was managing rock stars. Like Dennis Rodman when Michael Jordan, Skype him, those dudes were rock stars.
Lead singers though. It was like managing 5 lead singers though. Shit. It wasn't just managing a band.
And Dennis Rodman, they were like, dude, he would just fuck shit up. Like off the court too. Like he would just go out and get hammered.
Moving away from our favorite person, now jumping to our least favorite person, and mine's going to be very specific for a very specific reason. It's whoever the equipment guy, the equipment manager for the Bulls was after they got beat by the Pistons, and that's because you allowed Michael Jordan to go in the weight room wearing pink workout gloves. Like it's bad enough that you're in there pumping iron with workout gloves, and it just everything else was so cool, and he's just wearing these. It looks like my wife's like gardening gloves, to be honest with you. And it just was a tough look cool. For me. You would, but they just didn't do it for me. I'm not a workout gloves guy. I can't stand it, and it was a bad look.
I
you got to get the calluses on your hand. You got to show the work. I just didn't
he's
like it.
Trying to have soft, gentle hands for the basketball, and you're gonna want him to.
That's a soft mentality.
I don't know. I'm probably gonna steal probably everyone's, but Isaiah Thomas is my least favorite person. That guy, he's just smug, and he was trying to say we were doing what the Celtics did the year before, and this and that. It's like
and that wasn't even true. Actually, they said that there was a guy in the Celtics. I heard today somewhere that the Celtics had gotten those guys off the court in that Pistons series because the Pistons fans were getting ready to storm the court. and
Yeah,
you want
it's
those
just
Celtics
such an
players out there.
excuse. Like, just say you hate, like you guys hate each other, and you did it because you were trying to disrespect them. Don't be getting that bullshit where you're like, oh, we weren't showing any disrespect, like that, whatever they thought, if whatever they kind of
Feel-
thought, like that wasn't the right thing. Did you see too when he was on with Jalen Rose? He's like, apologize for people having to take blame in Detroit for like what they did or whatever. Like it was so confusing. Like they're trying to spin this in their direction, like they want everyone to feel bad for them. But like, dude, you literally beat the shit out of those Bulls teams. You beat the shit out of they
He even
beat the
tweeted
shit out of
today,
Michael
he's like,
Jordan.
you act like we were trying to hurt Michael. It's like, you were, you idiots. Like,
Yeah.
what are you
Yeah,
talking about?
they
It was part of the
were.
Jordan rules.
There was the Jordan, like, dude, whenever he came in that lane, dude, they were punching him like in the face.
You see what they? I mean, it wasn't even just Jordan, dude. They did it to
No,
everybody. It was
everybody.
Bird. They did it to Dominique Wilkins. They went at him. They showed that highlight a couple times where he was going after like they were going against half the Hawks team.
When Scottie Pippen was getting dragged off the court, Boomy,
Referee.
and because Bill Laimbeer, I think, got him in the face with an elbow or something, and they're like dragging him off. They're like, nowadays, if somebody was down like that, they would have like they would have to like stop the game.
Oh, they'd have a stretcher out there.
Joey Crawford.
Joey Crawford would be down there kissing him on the forehead.
That was Joey Crawford, right?
I have no idea.
I thought that was
Yeah,
Joey
it was.
Crawford. Yeah, that's
It was.
Joey Crawford who was dragging him
really?
off the. Yeah,
That's
I
incredible.
didn't
I
know
didn't
That's
know
surprising
he
at
was
all.
that old.
Man, I mean, Isaiah Thomas is obviously the one you dislike the most. But since we already said that one, I'll just go right to Mike Wilbon. Because I swear to God, he thinks he's
tired
part
of
of that team. He feels like he's part of it. You could tell it the way he
wasn't
talks
even
about
a
it.
beat writer for the team. He was he worked for like the Washington Post or something, or somewhere in DC. Like he's never been a writer for anywhere in Chicago. I don't think.
He just wants to take credit for this because they won championships. He wants to say, "Oh yeah, like I was there, I saw it, I knew Mike. Me and Michael Jordan were friends." Like,
Unbelievable.
just shut up.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Typical
So
Wilbon.
true.
Mine, I'm gonna stick to strictly just this week, and it's not long term. But my least favorite person this week was Scottie Pippen, and
Yeah,
Really?
between the migraine,
my least favorite too.
It's like okay, dude, we get the point, but at some point you just gotta like suck it up, go back. You sign the contract, play it out, go to free agency, make your money. Like you left your teammates in a lurch, and I think that's pretty shitty way to go on about it. And then just I don't know.
I don't
To
think
act like
he just didn't. It seemed like he didn't have the greatest decision making skills. Like when he set out those like the last 1.7 seconds. Like why would you like you know that's gonna make you look bad. Like he went to demanded a trade and then said. Well, then he goes, yeah, they. I would have accepted any trade, but they weren't gonna do it. It's just like, and he just tried to make excuses.
Yeah.
it's all posture.
That was disappointing.
He's coming across a little bit whiny to say the least.
Yes.
And,
it's like you said in the first episode or first episode, it was kind of like, oh, poor Scotty, this and that. He didn't get paid first off, and like it's like, dude, no one forced him to sign the contract. Like he knew what was like he was signing.
And what sucks too is because like you go back and especially like in that first and second championship and third championship, Pippen was a fucking pitbull, dude. Like he's outstanding.
I'm not taking anything away from his game. Like he is top 50 of all time.
That's why I hate like kind of ripping on him, but like he was so dynamic defensively and like brought just a whole new level to the game, being that whole point forward aspect of it, where it's like, oh wow, you have a small forward, I can still handle the ball and be the primary ball handler and bring it up the floor. Like that kind of stuff wasn't happening every day, and he revolutionized that position a little bit.
And
he was a phenomenal player.
And you look back at it, though, even like the Jerry Krause stuff, is like he took it way too far. Like it was. I was kind of
dancing at the end of that one last night. That was beautiful.
What'd you say?
How about Jerry dancing on the plane? On the
oh yeah, and then but then at the end,
I don't need to see that ever again.
No, I need a stream of that at all times. That was beautiful.
Even at the end of that, like Scotty's like, "Go sit down, Jerry." It's like,
yeah, like dude, you're just kind of.
They can't all get along at all. Like they all wanted to be the center of attention, and it's just like it's Michael Jordan is going to be the center of attention. Whatever you want to say, whatever. I know Scottie Pippen was a great, amazing player, but like the center of attention was always going to be Michael Jordan, and everyone wanted to be like the guy that gets all the attention. I think that's what kind of it's kind of sad to look back to, and like egos broke up one of the best runs in NBA history, like in sports history. And now it's like the worst part about it too is like once this, well,
They never
I
got
don't
a
want
chance
to. I
to
don't
have
want to be
someone
sad
take it
about
from
this,
them.
but once this ends, you're just like shit. Like this is great, but like since then, nothing. No NBA Finals appearances. What was there? One or two Eastern Conference Finals appearances. That's it since this whole thing, and like you just seen what a train wreck it's been since this all happened.
Definitely. And I have another honorable mention for my favorite person that I forgot about. Scott Burrell, the guy on the plane. And he's like, man, my mom was going to see this. He's like, tell your son's an alcoholic. And like,
Dennis Rodman Jr.
Yeah, exactly. Like that guy's just getting like he barely played. He's just getting dogged on, and he just knows that in like 20 years this is going to be a video, and he's going to have to explain himself.
That are like, oh man, that Scott Burrell's thought that like he's got away with that video for 20 years.
Yeah. He was watching that last night, completely forgot it happened.
Between him and the wives of the like the 84, 85 team,
yeah,
the cocaine, like MJ just threw them all under the bus.
You said you went to bed early that night in Peoria.
If we found out anything too in this, it's kind of like Michael Jordan will throw you under the bus pretty quick too. It's
There's
like
a camera around, you're going underneath.
Yeah. There's been a lot of like, oh yeah, he did this. Oh yeah, like they said when he said, "Oh, I left the room when everyone was doing it."
Yeah, for sure.
Because we went to a different room with more people.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not a whole lot to complain about, but what are some things that we wanted to see that we maybe didn't see, or that we had complaints about?
I got one. It's kind of weird. Just kind of. I thought they should have maybe talked a little bit longer about like when they found Rodman in the parking lot with the gun. Like I understand, like yes, you don't want to go deep into it, but maybe more than like just a quick like 30 seconds of it. Maybe just go a few more minutes into it and kind of how he worked through it and everything. I thought that was kind of glossed over a little quickly, and I also was just interested to see like what Pistons players were not in it. Bill Laimbeer was not in it because you know that it's either Michael Jordan didn't want him in it or whatever. So it was just kind of interesting to see what Detroit Pistons players were not in it, because it was pretty much just, is it John Scally?
Yeah, John Sally, and then Isaiah was it.
And really stole my thunder on that, because I was going to say the thing I wanted to see was an interview with Bill Laimbeer because he did come out today that we're recording this. And was kind of, still trash talking the Bulls and about their whining, and so I wanted to see his side, and I wanted to see him come out and like have a firm stance on something, because yes, it was in the Bad Boys documentary a lot with Laimbeer, and I was always raised by my dad that like Bill Laimbeer is about as close to the devil as possible. But I would
he's not a good basketball player. He's not a good basketball player. Kidding me? I hate the people that like, and then he was going on like, oh, I'm not a bad person. They made us out to be bad people. Like that's what my problem is with them. Like they couldn't like find the difference between the basketball player and the human. It's like, dude, you beat the shit out of them. You talk shit all the time. What are you talking about? Like what you are on the basketball court.
Yeah, if you're gonna be the bad guy,
no one ever said he was a bad person. They said he was a dickhead. He's a dickhead.
Yeah, this is different.
I think what he did in the basketball court makes him a bad person. Like he went out to like hurt people. Like he didn't have the skills to like really go out. Like yeah, he was a good basketball player, but like to win championships and like to be like what he is, he went out there because he got away, which is like beating the shit out of people.
I think for me, stuff I wanted to see in this was, I just can't get enough of Dennis Rodman stories from Vegas. Like I just want a full hour on what Rodman did in Vegas for 48 hours. That's all I want. And like I understand you can't do that because you got a documentary you got to shoot. You get 10 hours of this, but it's like, man, missed opportunities for Rodman.
It's kind of probably also stuff like you probably shouldn't be telling them what.
That's probably
you can't take a documentary film crew into a strip club in Vegas.
Well, it was cool to like.
That's bonus features for the Blu-ray at least.
Yeah, exactly.
It was cool to hear. Like I was looking forward to hearing Michael Jordan speak on Dennis Rodman and his basketball and stuff, and it was just cool to see. Like, yeah, Dennis Rodman, as crazy as he is like a genius. And the cool story, a genius on the basketball court. Is what I should have said. The cool story was when he Dennis Rodman went up to Michael Jordan's room, was like, "Can I get a cigar?" Didn't say sorry, didn't say anything else, just asked for a cigar. And somehow they both just knew that was Dennis Rodman's way of saying I'm sorry.
Definitely. And to Gamer's point, though, like, I'll throw this in. I've read like half to 3/4 of Dennis Rodman's autobiography, and I would love to have seen like they touched on it very briefly, but like his transition from high school to get to the NBA, like they touched on it, like I said, but he was homeless for legitimately 2 years. He has like 13 siblings. His dad has like 35 kids throughout the world, and like a mom who was, in and out of trouble and stuff, and like had her issues. And, like that kind of stuff is why he was a janitor at an airport for a while, and then goes to this NAIA D3 school. It's just a wild ride.
The only thing I would say to that is, like, they did do a whole 30 for 30 on it, so they probably didn't want to agree. But you know what?
But there's also something along that line that touches from that stuff that kind of maybe connects it to that part, like you said, about him sitting in the parking lot at the Palace at Auburn Hills with a gun.
He even said I slept in people's backyards. Like, I slept anywhere I could for 2 years. He was homeless. I think his mom kicked him out when he was 18 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I said, I do think they did like a kind of a perfect amount of time on it, because like I said, they could go into so many things on all those players too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Matt, you got any complaints?
I'm kind of with Boomy. Just I wanted to see more Bad Boys, more Detroit, more hate. I love the hate. I like the fuel. I like. I
think they could have made this a 20-part series.
Like when he gets going, even about when they went to LA and facing the Lakers, and you could tell he wanted to slit Magic's throat, that figuratively in that series. And he wants to beat everybody, and he wants to just absolutely eviscerate everybody that he faces. And absolutely. I love hearing the stories about that, and I love hearing the fire where that came from, how that carried him and how that carried that team. It's just fascinating.
100%.
Like, even what you said about when he went over to Doug Collins, and like he's like he was third or fourth year in the league or whatever, and he's like, I'm gonna win this game. Like, I'll win this game.
Don't worry about this. I'll get this win.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm not gonna let you lose your first game ever.
Yeah, that was it.
And he goes out and scored 50 points.
All right.
Now, next week we will see episodes 5 and 6. So, what are we looking forward to, boys?
I was watching the SVP Sports Center after, and it kind of had like a little bit of they're kind of talking about the Dream Team and everything, but they also showed a little bit of a clip of him and Kobe. So I'm very interested to like start maybe kind of getting into the relationship of him and Kobe at some point here in the next few episodes, which is something that I really didn't know was as strong until with Kobe passing away recently, and how Michael Jordan reacted to it with everything. So you're gonna really maybe see here how close they really were.
Definitely. And I think along those lines, Zach, and I kind of get spurred off of that, the Kobe thing, I want to see if there's any bit of the relationship with like Allen Iverson. And I know and I say that in a selfish manner, because Allen Iverson, after Michael retired, was my favorite player for a very long time. And one of Allen Iverson's, famous videos is him crossing Michael Jordan over. And like, I just wanted to see if there's going to be any of that sort of, if there's any like relationship with guys like that, maybe even like a Stephon Marbury or a Kevin Garnett, or, some of those young rising stars kind of tagging along with Kobe, obviously. But I really am interested to see if they're going to do anything with those young guys in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I'm like, even the Dream Team stuff, it's just like all this is going to be so cool to see, like Michael Jordan perspective of all of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the Dream Team.
I want to see the Kwame Brown stuff.
I don't think that's gonna make it.
It might get left on the editing room floor, and rightfully so.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I am looking forward to the Dream Team stuff. I think that's gonna be pretty cool, because I'm sure you're gonna get a lot of those Dream Team teammates that he had talking about him and how he stood out on a team that had just full of Hall of Famers and then Christian Laettner. But I mean, you've got just guys like Malone, Stockton, like all these just absolute monsters back then, and somehow Jordan stands out above all of them. So to hear their perspectives on it too will be really cool, I think.
And I also want to hear Michael Jordan say, I did not want Isaiah Thomas on the dream team, and that's why he wasn't on there. I just want him to
You
say
better
it.
say it.
Everyone
say it.
knows that's why, but like I can't wait to find out because they were talking today, like Jordan did not want to do it. He did not want to do it. And then they finally kind of convinced him, and then he said he wouldn't do it without Isaiah. He wouldn't do it with Isaiah on the team. And then they kind of like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson both went out and like recruited the team and then showed it to him and was like, "Was this working?" Like they just had like amazing players, but no Isaiah. That's
Yeah,
just awesome.
I think Jordan was the last one to say yes.
And like I said, that was one of the things Isaiah did not win in his career. He won like state championship, NCAA championship, NBA championship, like all these awards, but he never won a gold medal just because he was not friends with Michael Jordan.
You hate this
Or,
man.
like I said, also what you find from this is just like I just love the hate. It's just hate all around.
Yep.
It still lasts. That's what I need in the NBA right now. I need more hate between the players.
And no matter what they do, just throw Carmen Electra into every episode from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Just find something that you could just throw
commercial
in.
breaks right there. Just have her sit there.
Were they they weren't
there.
married, were they?
Yeah, I thought they did for
I think they did get married. Yeah.
I think it was very short, and I think it got annulled.
Yeah.
I think that was when I learned what annulment meant. When I was like 15 or 16.
Man,
teaching the youth of America.
Yeah. See, I learned facts of life from the Bulls, for God's sake.
I learned what annulment was from.
Were married from 98 to 99.
I watched.
I learned what a Vegas bender was.
If you guys ever watch Friends, that's what I learned annulment from is from Friends.
Oh, 9 days later they filed for annulment. So they were married.
Yeah.
I don't know why that didn't work out.
No, I can't imagine why. Boys, anything else on the beauty?
Well, I'm looking forward real quick. One thing I'm going to look forward to coming up is the dynamic of Horace Grant leaving the Bulls. And,
yeah, I was very surprised.
Yeah, when he heads off for Orlando after the '94 season, there was he left for the bigger payday. Michael was still playing baseball at the time. Came back in March. Bulls ended up running into the Magic with Penny and Shaq, Horace Grant in the '95 playoffs. Lost to them in the second round. Horace got carried off the United Center floor by his Magic teammates, and he's pumping his fists, and he's throwing towels out into the crowd. He's just, acting like it's his team, and threw that in the Bulls' face. And you knew the following year when they ran into him in the Eastern Conference Finals, it was going to be a bloodbath, and it sure was.
So I know it's because of the glasses, but I always thought Horace Grant was this big dork, and apparently he was like, I didn't know he was such an enforcer for the Bulls. Like they talked about him, if someone went at Michael or Scott,
he's still,
he
kind of
big dude.
He kind of replaced what they lost with Oakley a little bit. He wasn't Charles Oakley in terms of the enforcer by any means, but he was probably a way better athletic player, good scorer. He brought an inside game that they needed.
Like Michael said, he was a very key contributor to the first three. But
very good player.
You hear
definitely the third wheel on that team, without a doubt, the third best player.
One little part of the next, I don't know what episode it is, but it kind of seemed like Michael was like, yeah, he went and like just turned on us. That made me very interested to see like what happened.
Yeah, me too.
You already know he's a part of it because he's already been interviewed a few times for some of the stuff, so you already know he's involved. So it's nice to see both sides.
I think he's done stuff with the Bulls organization.
I think he does stuff
like ambassador stuff or whatever. So I think he's probably willing to take his beating a little bit there.
Which is kind of funny because didn't Scotty get fired from his ambassador
just
spot
like
right before
last
this
week?
happened?
Yeah, last week,
right before this came out, that was
he
also
didn't do
another
anyway.
No, that's also kind of controversial too. I think so. Like, just always kind of like some controversy around some of the stuff Scotty does, even with the Bulls now.
That's part of my thing too. Is they ended up, he could have said that they did make it right for him by paying him probably an exorbitant amount of money to be an ambassador.
Yeah,
a lot of money that he needed because he had blown all the money. He made so much money in the NBA too. Like
110 million.
He made a lot of money.
Yep, hard to feel bad for the guy. Well, boys, that was the recap of week 2, episodes 3 and 4 of The Last Dance. We have episodes 5 and 6 coming this coming Sunday, May 3rd. Those are at 8 and 9 o'clock Central, so make sure you're tuned in. Anybody got any final thoughts?
No, I would say I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna go back and watch 1 through 4 before Sunday again. Just kind of recap yourself, like, because really and truthfully, it just may sound stupid, but they're doing. I've heard that like the timeline, they all like they'll the two timelines will add up at some point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to go back and rewatch before you go on the next episode, just to kind of catch yourself up on where the timeline is, because it does get a little confusing. But they do say that at the end of it, it all comes together.
Absolutely. Well, from me at Boomy TCF, Zach at Z Lilia TCF, Matt at schools_01, and Gamer at TCF Gameboy. Make sure you follow the main page at typical_Chicago. Make sure you check us out on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then head over to the YouTube page for all of our videos, food reviews, all the nonsense we do. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and follow us on Spotify. And make sure you're checking in next week for episodes 5 and 6 on Sunday. We'll have a recap show coming out next Tuesday, May 5th. We love you all.
Peace.